Hello and welcome to the virtual booth of the European University Association Council for Doctoral Education. My name is Luke Georghiou. I'm Deputy President and Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the University of Manchester, but also I have the privilege to chair the steering committee of the EUA-CDE. We are a membership organisation within the EUA for those who are particularly interested in doctoral education. I'm going to take a few minutes to tell you about our work. I'm just going to put up a few slides, if you bear with me just for a second here. Here you see an extract from our web pages. Most importantly, it provides a link, so if you want to go back, you can find more detail about anything that I shall be speaking about. Moving on a little bit about ourselves. We're a community of academic leaders and professionals from over 260 universities in 36 countries. We recently celebrated our 10th anniversary. The CDE was founded following a meeting held in Salzburg, where some core principles about doctoral education were set out. There were 10 of them, but I'm not going to go through all 10. I have highlighted one on the slide here because it is so important. The core component of doctoral training is the advancement of knowledge through basic research. At the same time, it's recognized that doctoral training will increasingly meet the needs of an employment market that's wider than academia. So here we capture two of the very key things that we're interested in. Today, as an organization, we provide a whole raft of activities to drive the core goal of collaboration, debate, and exchange of good practice among members, and to give a voice to doctoral education in Europe. On the right-hand side of the slide, you will see a number of our recent themes covering key issues in research in general and looking at them through the lens of how they impact upon doctoral education. I won't go through all of them, but you can see some really core topics such as research integrity, open science, the digital transformation, career development and tracking, well-being and indeed mental health, and of course in the past couple of years, the effects of the pandemic on doctoral candidates, including a global meeting that we organized with our counterpart associations. And we did indeed find that experiences in Europe were very much shared around the world. One of the key activities we undertook was on our 10th anniversary, when we carried out a survey of the landscape of doctoral education in Europe. This was a landmark survey, we're calling it that, but it was the largest ever done of doctoral education. And we received over 300 valid responses across 32 countries. And we're looking at who had responded. We believe it covered those institutions who are educating 40% of doctoral candidates. What was important as context was that this landscape for doctoral education has really evolved quite considerably in the past decade. We have gone from just under 30% of higher education institutions having doctoral programs or schools in 2006 to 84% in 2014, and no doubt still more now. Doctoral education, despite its enormously important role in universities, is often forgotten when policies are being formulated. Many governments in the EU itself have formulated targets for the amount of research to be performed as a percent of gross domestic product. And these targets have not always recognized that to be fulfilled, they need trained researchers to undertake the expanded work. And then, of course, they then need to support that training. A survey only tells you what's happening at a point in time. And we're currently updating the work done a couple of years ago to understand members' current priorities for doctoral and for postdoctoral training, and also to try to assess the longer term effects of the pandemic. What we have been finding through these interventions is that doctoral education has indeed been consolidating itself around the core concepts as set out all that time ago in the Salzburg Principles. Even though today we have as many as 750,000 doctoral candidates in Europe. The survey has, however, shown the rapid but incomplete diffusion of structured approaches to doctoral education. We found even within institutions as a coexistence of approaches, some structured, some really back with the single supervisor unconnected model. Supervision itself has increasingly been professionalized, but that process is also incomplete, and there is more work to do, more good practice to be shared. It's a real challenge for a university to get the right balance between flexibility and standardization. Some pressing issues are on the table today. We found with the publicity for our survey when it came out, all the newspapers wanted to write about was completion rates. It's clear that external stakeholders place a very high premium on this one measure of doctoral education. However, the demands being made push in more than one direction. On the one hand, there's a tension between stronger procedures for tracking and supporting progress, which could reduce completion time. And on the other hand, people want to pack more and more into the expectations for doctoral education. And the more you pack in, of course, the longer it takes. While virtually all doctoral education is a preparation for an academic career, there's now wide recognition that it's also a preparation for multiple knowledge-based and leadership roles. So what changes are needed in content to sustain this success in wider careers? Does the preparation we have designed for an academic career path also need new elements? Academic careers have themselves become more challenging and often multi-stage. There's an increasing concern that early career academics, from doctoral through postdoctoral and onward into first employment, are disproportionately affected by a number of factors, including research funding models, which create precarious employment, multiple short-term contracts for many, and may be made worse by COVID-related interruptions. And also in things which we normally regard as very positive, such as the move to open science, nonetheless can create real challenges for people at this stage when they are often still judged against hierarchical publication metrics. Let me take away the slides and finish by thanking you for visiting our booth. Please do engage with us more. We have an annual meeting which is open to all to register, and a number of workshops and thematic groups which are for our members. Please come and join us. Thank you very much.